Africa's largest leisure and tourism trade show returned in full force on the 9th of May, welcoming thousands of participants from all over Africa and beyond. Buyers used this opportunity to network, form partnerships, and market various destinations for travelers. South Africa Minister of Tourism Patricia de Lille also used this platform to give updated feedback on South Africa's performance of this sector for 2022 until 2023. Nearing the end of the 3-day event, a board consisting of South Africa Tourism, KwaZulu-Natal Tourism, Durban Tourism, and the Inkosi Albert Luthuli International Convention Centre addressed the media to give updated feedback of the event. Initially 6,000 participants registered, but that figure is not accurate. It's actually a little bit more. Just talk to me about that.
Certainly. So remember, there is those who register just before we open for Africa's Travel Indaba. So while the activities were happening, we then get more registration either online or the walk-ins. So what we are currently sitting with as we speak, it's 8,627 walk-ins. So for the period of 3 days, counting the half day that we have already covered. So looking at about 8,627 people that came to Africa's Travel Indaba 2023.
And that's a marginal increase from 2022, but we're not really back at the pre-pandemic levels yet, are we?
Let me surprise you. We are, because in 2019 we had about just over 8,000. So if you're looking at 8,627, then it does say to you we have certainly reached our pre-COVID numbers.
What are some of the key conversations that you heard from the buyers and the expo centers that we don't know of yet?
Yeah, so the key takeout was really around collaboration. Somebody spoke about collaboration, but what we have seen and what the industry and the sector at large has seen is the importance of collaboration. So you heard one of my colleagues from KZN talking about some deals that they've clinched as a result of ATI. So we've seen that people are really going for partnership, understanding that you cannot do it on your own. And really that's a lesson that we all learned from COVID.
Now, what are some of the key lessons that you've learned from this Indaba that you can apply to 2024? Because we still understand for the next 2 years it will be hosted here at Durban.
The show needs to grow. Once you set your goal and you achieve that goal, then the next level is to do better. So we know that the show certainly has to grow, particularly from the Pan-African context. So we had 21 countries, including South Africa, that were here or that are here exhibiting. But we know that there are 54 countries that we need to cover. So our strategy will be to target, the rest of Africa in ensuring that it does become a true Pan-African show, but also ensuring that we have the right diversity. If you look at our theme, we spoke about unlimited, we speak about unlimited Africa. What does it speak to? It really speaks to different elements that makes Africa unique, from our different offerings, but also the authenticity of those products. So it's really to grow our product base in terms of getting more products coming in and really diversifying our offering as Africa's Travel Indaba.
On the Pan-African, you just said now your strategy is to get the rest of because we have a few African countries here, but not as much as we did in the past. So do you have a very specific strategy to get them here, but not just the other African countries, the heads of states, to also come down to Africa Indaba and enjoy to be part of the same experience?
Certainly. So I'll start with the heads of state. So we have our minister who really runs that program, and she runs it well. Just like my colleague mentioned, we had a ministerial program that was led by the minister. So that is being handled quite well. And for the first time, we really saw different heads of state coming and being part of Africa's Travel Indaba. I mean, if you look at the tourism boards that are here, all of those tourism boards, they came with their ministers. So it tells you the value that they are seeing in terms of attending Africa's Travel Indaba. Then as far as ensuring that we broaden, the scope as far as other African countries are concerned, our strategy is clear. We've demonstrated that we are capable, and now we'll directly be going to these different countries through the tourism boards that they have to really showcase, but also demonstrate, the value of Africa's Travel Indaba and ensure that they actually participate in the next edition. I can tell you that is the first thing that we'll be focusing on, and when I see you in 2024, I'll be reporting those numbers.
The key to success in the tourism sector is collaboration with different departments and stakeholders in the value chain, from destination marketing, tourist packages, service providers and establishments. The success of these establishments relies on how they are rated or graded, as this can impact tourists' choices. The weight of being graded by tourism grading councils does bring invaluable benefits, but as the pandemic taught us many valuable lessons and the increased demand to be more environmentally conscious, the grading system also needs to adapt. We spoke to Bronwyn Oret, Chief Quality Assurance Officer at Tourism Grading Council of South Africa, about noticeable trends in the tourism sector post-COVID.
So in the tourism sector, there are many trends that we are now really getting to grips with post-COVID. And I think the consumers' needs have changed fundamentally. The big shifts are in short-term rentals. The short-term rental market is from informal all the way to formal. You have some hotel chains that in fact have apartment rentals in their buildings at this stage of the game. So that's quite a big trend, and it accommodates consumers who are looking to be digital nomads or looking to mix business with leisure when they travel, so it's a very interesting segment. Furthermore, there's obviously sustainability that is quite a big priority for consumers, and sustainability is, it's about not only about how green an establishment is and how often they consume water for laundry and that kind of thing, but it is also about including communities and making sure that when you visit a destination, you leave it in a better condition as a consumer than you found it. And part of that is empowering the community that you engage with and making sure there's employment in that community.
Speaking on that, I'm assuming your establishments like your Airbnb falls part of that grading sector. Have you noticed that increase in that from the consumers in terms of complaints, or in terms of I would say likeliness to say we will definitely recommend staying here, as opposed to your other small establishment, like you also mentioned, from your townships all the way up to your smaller guest houses, I suppose?
So Airbnb does not necessarily fall part of grading. It's a platform. It's a platform for the sharing economy, which is doing fantastically well. And what we do as a grading council is, people have the opportunity to quality assure their product on a 1 to 5 star scale. That's a voluntary program, and you may find that there are some Airbnbs in there, or there may not be. So it really depends on the kind of product, and if they would like to register with the Grading Council of South Africa.
Okay. Now let's talk about standards and policies that you are setting up. You're setting new standards every year, and how do you measure those standards?
So our grading criteria gets renewed every 3 years. So what we do is a very lengthy exercise to benchmark our criteria and our standards. We also then go do a lot of research and surveys into the sector. We engage with the product and we find out what they're looking for from a change perspective. We also engage the consumer, because ultimately it's a very strong buying sign for the consumer. Post that, we then go into sector engagements, and we're about to embark on that in the next 3 months, where we go into every province and we speak to everybody that we can about our particular proposed grading criteria changes. So by the time it goes for government gazetting, it's been well consulted, and the sector is very engaged in it, and they are invested in the criteria that we set.
And you're also about to launch something here at the Travel Indaba. Just speak to me about what that is.
So we have come out of piloting a program in the Eastern Cape called the Basic Quality Verification Program, and today we are launching that very program here at Africa's Travel Indaba. And it's an initiative that tackles the more informal or homestay sector, and it has a certification behind the quality assurance on those particular establishments, which is less onerous than the formal grading system. It's a really wonderful product because we go into villages, towns and small dorpies, and we've had great success. On our pilot in the Eastern Cape, we had about 185 establishments apply, of which just over 70 became certified, and one of them actually eventually became 3-star graded as a bed and breakfast. So it's a fantastic story, and we're rolling out into KZN, and we're hoping that in the coming future we'll be rolling out to all provinces.